Well, thank you all for coming today. Obviously, youth three, it's awesome that you guys are here because you haven't seen the seminars here, and with you starting up, now you see how it's going to be. So I don't know if you guys know what my topic today is, but it is why would you hire a personal trainer? So the benefits and psychology behind hiring a fitness trainer, as well as a little bit of history and some fun facts and such. So the fitness philosophy to start off. A personal trainer's fitness philosophy is a broad summary of your values. So who you are makes you the type of trainer that you are. So everybody has a different kind of niche, they have a different style. So it's a sum of your personal attributes as well as then who you are professionally. So it includes the following elements, which would be the method of teaching and coaching others, the method to motivating others, as well as then your personality and how it's used to connect with other people. And so I like this little quote here: the physical fitness is not only one of the most important keys to a healthy body, it is the basis of dynamic and creative intellectual activity. So yeah, kind of mind-to-body connection, it's a big part of what makes us up. So as personal trainers, again, being that this is why are you going to hire a personal trainer, I wanted to start off with a little bit of the history to make it fun. This was stuff that I actually didn't know myself, so it was kind of cool to find out. So it dates back actually as early as like 4,500 years ago, found in Egypt. There's like drawings and stuff of people that have some fitnessy kind of stuff going on, such as like lifting boulders and seeing who could throw like heavy stuff the farthest. So I thought that was pretty neat. So there was records of heavyweight lifting competitions back in the 6th century. And there was also competitions again with the boulders. The ancient Greeks and past civilizations have lots of traditions for keeping fit for combat. So that wasn't necessarily back then to look good, but it was a priority to be strong. So again, I thought that it was pretty interesting how far this has went back, that people knew it was important. And Germany and Sweden, so this was the leading forces in 1700 to 1850 area. Johann Gatsmuth, I think it's pronounced, and Friedrich John. So these were the grandfathers of German gymnastics. And so a lot of the stuff that they created as far as movements and equipment is still used to this day. So gymnastics was kind of, I'd say more of a recent, not 4,500 years ago, but that was one of the more recent first kind of things that started fitness. So I have a blank space here, so if anybody can guess, so actually hiring fitness experts, how long do you think, how long do you think that it's been that we've been hiring?
Personal trainers? Oh wow, that's a good question.
I'll go with 60 years.
60?
Yeah, I'll go with like 40 years.
40?
I like
40?
Yeah.
Well, you're the closest. It is higher than all that. It's 100 years. So, destination health spas. These were, you kind of look into some of the really weird old methods. They were popular, but at first it was not really anything to do with fitness. So there's a lot of stuff to do with like changing your body, and they were really weird, controversial methods. If we look back at it now, we'd say that's totally inhumane. And so then in 1914, the godfather of fitness is Jacques Lalande. He was born in California, and he opened the first official health club. He became the first official personal trainer ever. And so back then, it's interesting because you also didn't need any type of certification. So this guy was just a guy that he actually started off as a child sugar addict, it said. And so what drove him was he wasn't feeling the best and stuff, and just decided at a young age, like 17 I think it was, that he was going to completely cut sugar from his diet and start working out and living a healthy life and getting into sports in his last couple years of high school, and ended up being, again, the first personal trainer, meaning that he really got into it and saw the benefits of this. And so TV programs and celebrities were then what really drove it. So that would have been anything, basically from when TVs were out, radio, anything that you could advertise on at that point. We were seeing what the ideal body looked like, and people wanted to look like the TV celebrities. So that's whenever it really sparked. And then the 90s was whenever the first certificate was actually created. So prior to the 90s, you could be anybody. Any of you could have trained somebody. So I thought that was pretty cool too, because I didn't know that myself. It's only pretty recently certified.
Wow.
So next is the types of trainers. So I kind of mentioned how, like, everybody has their niche, everybody has a style. So there's like powerlifting, Olympic lifting. I don't have it up here, like bodybuilding, of course. CrossFit. I'm not going to say anything, but CrossFit trainers. There's endurance and conditioning coaches, as well as then athletic coaches. So that would be anything for like sports specialization. There's yoga and mobility focused trainers, and then of course we have us. There's plenty of more and lots of umbrellas under that, but with us we are the strength trainers, and we're the cool ones. We get you strong. Our philosophy here at the Flap, we strength train. We strongly believe and know the science backs it that the most benefits really do come from strength training. So of course all these have their reasons. Like if people are going into competition, then they might be under a bodybuilding type of regimen or routine. So the main characteristics of a good personal trainer. So passion, purpose, caring, and coaching. So of course you want a passionate coach. You want a passionate trainer, somebody that isn't just coming in here and trying to get the job done. You want somebody that's obviously showing that they enjoy what they're doing. And as well as, these all kind of tie in together. The purpose, I find that goes two ways. You want somebody that they feel their purpose is to be your training, as well as they're finding the purpose for their clients. So they are making sure that they're not kind of putting on what they think you should be doing. They're listening to what you want. As well as the caring. So again, that ties into going for the client's needs, the client's goals, and then the coaching purpose. Pretty straightforward, coaching the clients through their lifts, the techniques, the form, as well as then coaching them on a mindful and healthy, balanced lifestyle, nutrition-wise as well. So the main benefits of working with a personal trainer, they're supposed to be giving you advice and encouraging healthy lifestyle, providing constructive criticism to you. And that doesn't mean that you're going in and getting like a boot camp person that's like freaking out if you're not doing things. If they don't see what they want you to produce, that's not supposed to be the goal. Is having somebody that makes you feel bad about yourself. It's supposed to be constructive criticism, digging deep into what motivates you, as well as keeping you accountable and helping you set and reach reasonable goals. Demonstrating correct exercises, as well as then, I bolded this one, I thought it was pretty important, creating and utilizing progress tracking tools. So for instance here, like we have our leaderboards, monthly we take pictures, we take measurements as well as weight. So having somebody that kind of keeps that accountability for you, even though it's simple stuff that we know we can do ourselves, it's very beneficial to have somebody that's helping you out with that. And so my very first seminar that I did was on motivation. And so I kind of just retouched on this slide here because it is on the teaching and learning the motor skills, which would apply to anything that you're moving or learning with your hands. So obviously that would be exercise and lifting and such. So it just goes through the 5 steps, which are writing, imaging, focusing, executing, and evaluating. And they're all pretty straightforward the way they sound. And this would be from the beginning to the end, having the client doing things as well as then your personal trainer working with you so that you get to the end and both the trainer and the client can assess what the strengths and weaknesses were as well as then what needs to be corrected. And so what a personal trainer should never be doing. So touched base on it before, pushing their own goals onto the client. Sometimes it's a little bit biased that we have what we think works best, or we have exercises that we like even, and if somebody says they absolutely hate something, or if they say they don't want cardio at all, we can try to plant seeds, but again in a healthy manner and not trying to push our own ideas on them. We cannot give medical advice for medical diagnosis, or psychological counseling or psychological diagnosis. So if you ever have a personal trainer that's trying to tell you what you have going on, like mental health wise, that's not appropriate. It's okay if you guys are talking mental health and what's going on in your day-to-day life, but there's definitely the fine line there that separates it. And so they also should not be putting you into any uncomfortable situations. That's quite obvious. As well as then ignoring any concerns or questions that you might have. So whether that's an injury or there's lots of things that people come to us and ask, and it shouldn't be something that's ever ignored. The last one, personal trainers should never be judged for our accounting skills because we all suck at it, so everybody's gonna have to get over that one. So another big no-no, so I wanted to bring this one up, and it's not to offend anybody, but It's the whole like Instagram trainer thing and social media trainers. For one, like a lot of them are not certified and they have no credible education within the field. Because you've went to a gym maybe even longer than I have, that's fine, that's great. You might do a squat better than I do and heavier than I do. Does not mean that you went and took years and got the certification. And you know, there's also even side ones that people can take on their own time, not even in school, and that's fine too. Just you have to get that certification. And as well, they're very commonly known to give a one-size-fits-all program. So with that, we all know that, or should know that, you're never going to get a program that's exactly like somebody else's. Everything from the weight, the reps, the style, as well as then having unhealthy or unrealistic or unsustainable methods to their training program. So a lot of these people you need to be able to decipher, and that's why you come to us first. You need to decipher what is out there. Like online, there's so much information that a lot of it is fake news, and you want to be able to tell it apart yourself before you're going and following some new program on your own, thinking that it's a good idea, and maybe it wasn't. And so again, just to reiterate, like there's nothing wrong with people that have like fitness accounts and have their own little journey that they're tracking, as long as they're not trying to push that they're a certified personal trainer, then all is well. So the number one goal of a personal trainer, for me, I like to be super transparent. I find myself honestly telling everybody that like a good personal trainer isn't just in it for the money. It's pretty obvious that this is our job, just like everybody else have their career that, that's their income and the way they make their living, but it does not mean that that's all that you should care about in your job. The primary thing should be, making sure that you're actually looking after your client, and the plan is then to guide you to be able to do that on your own. So by looking after your client's needs, we know that, unfortunately, a lot of you are going to be leaving us, and a lot of people it's a few months, and a lot of people it's like years later, and it doesn't mean that all people leave. Some people just need to stay for the accountability, and that is great too. But I like to always tell people that my goal is to set you up with what you need so that you can move forward. And so just to touch on body training, so we do it here at Lift Lab, and I think it's a really good idea whether you're working out on your own or not. Body training in general, with friends, with a partner. Studies show that working out with a friend or in groups can have like significantly high impact on again the accountability. Whenever you make a plan with somebody else, you're a lot less likely to flake than whenever somebody else is like, hey, I'm going to pick you up, or I'm going to be there in 20. And even the results, it's crazy that when you work out with people or even are just keeping up with accountability and letting them know when you're working out, a lot of the time that people will see the results are improving, and that's not rocket science, because if you're being consistent with it, then you're going to see those results. And so working out with a personal trainer has proven to have all this efficiency and good benefits, as well as then with friends. You can imagine what buddy training is like that has the two encompassed, and it seems to have been working really well so far. And so this one here, this was also another one that I kind of mentioned before, and so the exercise math. I like to remind people that we're also not here to take up all your time. You don't need to be working out like 12 times a week for 2 hours each. You only need a few hours. If you're coming in with us consistently 3 to 4 times a week, that's great. And the thing is, you're going to be more productive in your own life. So you're going to be more productive in your own life. So the exercise math being that whenever you come here and then leave, the things that you're getting done outside of the gym are then at a quicker pace. So you're actually saving time by getting a workout in. And so I just had some testimonials here. Thank you, Nicole, for providing one. And again, these are just what some clients that I've had or clients have said. It's everything from, again, the accountability, the quality of the workout being better whenever they have a trainer. The overall experience with Lift Lab has been amazing. The trainers are super nice, and myself has been a huge help for Tyler reaching his goals. And I don't know if you guys have ever kept up with the social media. You guys can see that we like to put up client updates and stuff, and it's motivating to also see what other people are in here getting done. And yeah, so we have the last little quote here. It's a little corny, but I do live by it. If you choose a job that you love, you will not work a day in your life. And I really do believe in that because I don't find when I come in here that, you know, I'm looking at my watch every minute, like, when am I gonna get out of here? Yeah, it doesn't feel like work, and I think that that's probably a big key importance whenever hiring a personal trainer. You want somebody that likes what they're doing. And any questions?
First of all, I have a question. You talked about a lot of the good qualities of a trainer. Like, what are some indicators, like, of a bad personal trainer, like someone you might not want to hire?
Well, I mean, to bring it back, that's why, like, obviously there's so much that could branch under that. I think the pushing their own goals thing is a really big one. I think that because, again, we all have a style or a niche, you know, we might have somebody that comes in here and says they want cardio. I can't look at them and say, I'm not giving you that because I don't train cardio. Like, I mean, I could, but that would be silly. So, you know, you're gonna have people that have their own ideas of it, and then you're gonna have people that definitely cater to what you need. The medical advice thing, I think, like those two, the scope of practice is really important to me. You know, I like to go by the book when it comes to, and that ties into the whole Instagram thing. Like, I feel like my toes are kind of being stepped on in a way, to be quite honest, whenever you have people that are claiming to be something. Like, I would never go and claim I'm a doctor. I feel like doctors would look at me like I'm silly. And I mean, I'm not a doctor by all means, it's maybe not the same level, but I just think, like, you know, stick to what you know and stay in your lane. So I think, and even like with that, with a niche, like I have my own niche being here, strength training. I do not know a thing about like powerlifting, Olympic lifts, and like CrossFit gyms. So I mean, I wouldn't pretend to. I'd be honest and tell them that, you know, I can try and we can start somewhere, but I think that's again something that people kind of take on stuff that they're not maybe ready for. Or
Right,
like,
be honest with your knowledge and limitations.
yeah, taking on clients that maybe weren't ready for what they were needing. Yeah.
You gotta get out of here.
It's in our,
Thanks, Ben. I have two things. You were just mentioning the trainers, their own agenda. And then you also mentioned how like some clients will come in with weird ideas. So like, they'll come in saying, you know, I want to tone up, or I don't want to lift heavy because I want to be bulky.
Mm-hmm.
Or like,
all the
yeah.
good myths.
a lot of nonsense people come in with. So how do you balance, their preconceived ideas, which may be totally whack, with like wanting to get the best results for them as a trainer? So I mean, at some point you are going to have to kind of be like, well, no, actually, this is a better way to
Yeah.
do things.
Honestly, I mean, it's a good question because when you have somebody that comes in and they're a beginner, I find it's a lot easier, right? You're not trying to bring something backwards and unlearn something they've already learned maybe incorrectly or just in a different style. But as far as when somebody comes in here and maybe, you know, is thinking a different way, it could be something to do with the way you do a certain lift. Oh, I've heard that I'm supposed to have my back like this. You know, the most we can do is push that we try it this way and that this is the way we've been taught, and this is, you know, what I like to bring up. We always talk science. Like, there's a difference of like opinion and what's been proven and what has studies and what has the results and facts. So I think that makes a big difference. Really just kind of getting the client to understand that they're going to have to give it a try. Try it, and you know, if you really have an issue after that, then we can work on switching some stuff up. But because you still have to cater to what they want. Like I said, I don't like cardio. I wouldn't necessarily like train somebody on a treadmill for an hour, but like that's some coach's niche, right? If they're training runners, so really just depends. That's it. It depends.
It depends. Yeah, you're right.
That's a good question. Okay, so like I'm on TikTok, on Instagram, like everything, right? So there's like so many videos of these, you know, just people who like they have their body built and they're saying, okay, like do this, do that. They're trying to push that one size fits all type of program. So what are like personal trainers doing in like the media world, trying to tell like, you know, regular people saying this is not real? Like if you see these things that people are saying, like it's a red flag.
Yeah, well, I mean, like you just said, that's the biggest thing. Like, I don't, I don't lack to post whenever I see something that's like out there that I think is absolutely silly. Like I'll post it and kind of call it out because I think that the people that are certified to do so should. Because like again, like the doctor example, if somebody said this is the way you do surgery and the doctor was like, no, it's not, they would call that person out. So again, maybe I'm not at the level of that, but I think, you know, you have the right when you have whatever job it is you're in to say, no, like I learned it properly this way. So, you know, whenever it comes to our job, it's like just to push what we can. Because yeah, like you said, you know, you have like beginners or people that are out there on social media, kids, you know, like kids that, I think we were talking about it the other day, how crazy it is that all these kids have like eating disorders and stuff like that, and a lot of it is because of the social media, and because of half of them just are self-diagnosing themselves with problems and stuff, so yeah, it can get a little bit dangerous there.
I have a comment actually. You brought up doctors. Now, the funny thing is about doctors is sometimes they're great, but other times like the education they get on exercise and benefits is zilch.
Yeah.
They like maybe just in a general sense, and even nutrition. They don't get any more than we get really. So
No, the doctor actually, I find the doctor usually points
sometimes
a person in the direction of like, you know, a gym or a trainer or like some sort of.
you'll get a lot of doctors who are like, oh, you know, you have spinal disc degeneration, which everybody has, and they'll be like, don't lift any weights, which is nonsense.
Yeah, and that is so yeah, whenever I say level of, you know, I just mean I haven't went to school for 8 years at university, but yeah, with that being said, it's true that even that, it's a good point that I have somebody that I'm kind of in that exact situation with, that is being told that they can't do a lot of things, and who am I to say, your doctor's wrong, but there's stuff that I absolutely know, you know, just you type in a simple Google, like, what is fitness good for, it's going to tell you stuff about like backing this stuff up to do with arthritis and joint problems and stuff. Meanwhile, they're being told you're going to make it worse. So that's pretty frustrating, but can we do so much, right?
Yeah, right. You can't tell them to ignore your doctor, but you can say, well, maybe it's another
I
way.
mean, you can always ask for a referral, like, if they're really,
Change up.
yeah, like, go and ask your doctor, like, if what I think you should be doing is, if we can just give it a try, and you probably notice that, the doctor would notice there's nothing wrong here.
Right.
You glad I got the test on the shit.
Yeah, right.